Hello? You got it. Perfect.
Preach it.
Perfect. First of all, thank you, Jacob. Brother, it is amazing that you almost got me in tears over there, believe it or not. But this guy has been so much to this organization, especially him being able to move, from Canada and then being here and then being able to be in this business with your family. That is one great thing that I love about the camaraderie that you guys have is I wish, I could be in business with my mother-in-law, my sister, my brother, everybody in my family, to be able to build this up. So that is amazing, and that's something, do not forget that, because most people don't have that. And that is a pure joy of what you get to do. So, some of you do not know who I am, but I will tell you a little bit about me and my story. So, I went to school right here in Stephen F. Austin, Fort Bend. I then got a scholarship to play tennis in Benedictine College in Kansas. No, it was football. Middle linebacker. And I then had the opportunity to move back home, and I started working for a corporation in telecommunications where I was literally cold calling door to door, getting told to get out of nail salons and get out of my face, this, that, and the other. Where I was so good, I then had an opportunity to move to LA. They literally told me 3 days, David, you're moving to LA. I was sitting in somebody's house on Super Bowl Sunday, eating scallops and bacon. Never had that combination. If you haven't, try it, it's pretty good. I don't eat bacon anymore, but I would do it. Then after that, I moved from LA to Minneapolis, Minnesota in January. Don't do that neither. It was very cold. And then I became the vice president there at this company, where then I was managing well over 100 people. Unfortunately, at that time, my mother actually got diagnosed with brain cancer. This cancer was the size of a tennis ball. And fortunate for us, our godfather was Dr. Bacon. He was actually able to fly my mother over to Germany to get this tennis ball sized cancer shrunk down to a pea. My mom was back home within 3 weeks, and that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
Okay? So that's what really got me on this journey of really what the health and the wellness and really being able to transition into what I hated, about the corporate world. Is that after that situation happened, they told me, hey, we don't have a job for you back here at home. You gotta go back home. So I got back in the corporate world, started working again. I took well over 500 flights in 4 years. I then one day want to come back home, and I literally spent about $1,000 on 2 clients the night before. My trips were probably about a good $1,200 a pop, and I just want to come home. I called my boss, she's on the couch eating Cheetos, and I said, hey, can I take this earlier flight to get back home? She said, well, David, I really appreciate, if you stayed, and really, save the company some money. I said, over $150. You got me kidding me. So then that's when I really came into being able to understand I'm tired of working for somebody else. I'm tired of building somebody else's dreams. I'm tired of somebody telling me when I could and could not do this, let alone Tara went to go on every vacation I possibly could, but I did not want to see the airport at all. And so that was one of the biggest things that I hated, and what I've been able to find, and what has been brought to my life is more so, self-development. Like Jacob said a year ago, I would not have been in this position. I've always presented it in front of hundreds of people, but never at this aspect with this up here in mind. And more importantly is the relationships that I've built. The people that I've gotten to learn and see them grow as well. And that right there in itself is awesome. Especially, knowing some of my friends and family from before this to who I know now. And what I'm excited about now? What I'm excited about is these things coming to fruition, right? To where we can go to your tree house, right? Where we can go, and I believe you want the brand new, the new
Yeah,
Cadillac.
that's something.
Yeah, I've seen it, it's nice, right? My mission, my goal is to impact over 350,000 people's lives in the next 2 years. We will, right? We will be able to do that. Furthermore, pay off a lot of this debt that I've collected, right? School, everything else, businesses, you name it. And then more importantly is having my mom and dad with $10,000 in the bank every single month, and that not coming out of my bank account whatsoever.
Nice.
Not only that, having a house in Jamaica and 1.53 miles down, I just get to take a little stroll. It's my super boat, 62-foot boat. I'm golfing and fishing every single day. That's what I'm excited about, and I visualize that every single chance I can. So, what I'd like for you to do today is I'd like for you to open up your mind. I'd like for you to be able to literally sit there and listen to what I'm saying. Because I can assure you, you are going to run through the same things of this. Right? Of how to handle the unexpected expectations. And what I want to do is I want to literally be able to help you understand what expectations is. Do you know expectations are nothing more than your imagination? An expectation is something that does not meet up to your standard. An expectation is things don't go your way when you want them to go your way. And we get mad at other people when things don't go our way. Not understanding that we all grew up a different way. Whether you're married together or anything. Right? I'll tell you a personal story about myself. My father backhanded the crap out of me when I couldn't read the word turtle. Ever since that moment, I didn't like reading in public. But this right here has taught me to expand myself and get out of that. So that is what the unexpected expectations that I encourage you guys to really get out of. And what I want to do is share some of the landmines that I went through in this business to help you out. Because I can assure you, you are going to come across these things. And they will be something that probably will try to knock you out. And this is where your mindset, this is where you have to determine if you're going to still continue to go down that cycle, that continuous trap that Casey talked about earlier. That circle of life. And what you're going to face in that is you're going to face negative energy. You're going to face family. I can assure you of that. You're going to face friends. Okay, we'll definitely talk about that. You're also going to have some top objections that I want to discuss that you guys should be able to overcome just like that. Not only that, is as you grow, your business will grow. I can assure you that. Okay? Not only that, excuses fixes desires. Okay? And then building a business together is a huge thing. So, what I'd like to talk about, how do you handle the haters? Right? How do you handle negative energy? Because you have to be careful who you hang around with. You have to be careful of they. The people that are in this room are the right people that you want to be with. I can assure you of that. I'll tell you a story. I had one of my best friends from high school, and I went to go and talk to her and tried to drop a whole bunch of blueberries and tried to be that guy. And she literally looked at me and she said, "David, this is a scam. I don't want to do any of this. What are you doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "No, this is a complete scam." She told me that right to my face, and that almost knocked me out. Like, you know what? She's right. This is a scam. But what am I doing? Why am I going around doing all this? Believe it or not, a year later, after me being consistent, she actually invited me back on her radio show where she was now promoting what we were doing. And I just heard from her the other day where she wants to sit down and have some coffee.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Okay? When you talk about family, family will be the first ones to tear you apart. I can assure you, some of you might be sitting next to somebody in this room right now that might have torn you apart. that's okay. My own sister, another story, my own sister decided that her full-time job was not enough for her. She decided that she would go and, in the trap, go and decide to get a part-time job and work 20 hours on the weekend and work at Papa Do's as a waiter. I said, listen, you see how successful your brother's being? Why don't you sit down with me for about an hour or two and I can show you exactly how to do this? She said, no, that's not my thing. I don't want to do that. I said, cool, knock yourself out. Go work your 20 hours on the weekend and still complain how you don't have money, you can't go here, and when we want to go on vacations, we got to front your bill. Good thing she's not sitting here. So, friends, your friends will be the crabs in the bucket. I can assure you right now, I give my friends their time when I give them my time. Because my friends that I had when I very first started this are not my same friends that I have now. I can assure you of that. You will have to get over that. Because your friends do not have the same mindset as you do. Your friends do not have the same goals and desires as you do. And you are sitting here on a Saturday morning when you could be sitting on your couch. Some of you might be still in bed, right? Or drinking that coffee or doing whatever. This is something for you. You have sacrificed today to be here, and I congratulate you on that first and foremost. Okay? The 3 objections. I love this part. You guys see my baby picture? That's a joke. That is a complete joke. He has hair.
Right? Oh, he's got your eyes.
So how many of us here hear that excuse, but I don't have any money? Yeah. I don't have any money. I can't afford that. A lot of times what you do and what I did was, man, you got the money, don't worry about it. You'll make all your money back. Don't worry about it. I'll show you how to get to Jade, No, that was not the right way, because then you get in a match. What you do is you relate to people. Hey, Michelle, you know what? I didn't have any money too when I very first started this, but what I start doing is I start looking at the money I was spending at Starbucks, and the money I was spending going out, and the valet money, and the alcohol, and all that stuff. And I really had to determine, what was more important to me. Did I want that energy in the afternoon? Did I want to go to sleep at night? And what I've been able to find is, man, that was the best choice I ever made. And I'm so glad I buckled down. I've actually saved a little bit more money. And so I just encourage you, you have to weigh out those options, because that's what I found, and I'm so glad I made that option. Right? Your next one is, I'm not good at sales. I love this one. Well, David, you've been a top salesperson. You've done this, you've done that. You've traveled all around the world. I'm nowhere near as good as you. How many of us hear that? Well, great, Miss Kathy. I am so glad you are not good at sales. Because guess what? We don't even much sell here. I just want you to share your story. Do you think you can do that? Yeah, there's no sales in this whatsoever at all. I just want you to just tell the world about how you feel and what you've done. That's it. You can do that, right? There's no sales. I'm not asking you to, slide over this piece of paper, sign here, or knock them upside the head, right? Not asking any of that. So that's great. I'm glad you don't know how to. Okay? So that's number 2. This is my favorite one. Is this one of those pyramid things? I just want you guys to know this. When somebody says pyramid scheme, first of all, they don't know what they're talking about. No. Period. Because this is one thing that I've kept this in my picture for the longest, my phone. Employees, supervisors, managers, CEO. There are 3 types of people at work. There's those that are hanging up underneath their desk. There are those that are trying to change the company, and there are those that are at the top. And you better believe that people at the top are trying to keep those people that are trying to change the world at the bottom. And when you get up there, those roles switch. You can continue to keep going around the mountain, right? Or you can join us and we can help each other climb the mountain. And that's what we do. So when people talk about a pyramid scheme, hey, what pyramid scheme? What happened, Miss Eva? What happened to you? Tell me the story. Was it you? Was it your friend? Was it your broke brother-in-law that sits on the couch voting for American Idol from last year? Right? So those are questions that you ask them and let them tell you what's going on. There's no need for you to get in a confrontation. Well, hey, your company doesn't have X, Y, Z. Well, what about your commission plan? Well, what about the product? Well, do you have this? Well, do you have that? Well, what about that brand new Healthy Hub app? Right? You don't need to get into that battle. When you get into that, it's like a sword fight. You will lose every time because that's pride and ego, and you're fighting against somebody's conditioning ways. How hard is it for your significant other to tell you to do something? No brainer. Don't do it. It's like mixing water and oil. I can assure you. Okay? So, when you talk about all of these issues, guess what? You don't have to handle any of these at all. I would like somebody to raise their hand that is not a shooter and explain to me why you might not need to be able to handle these objections or why you shouldn't have to talk about these objections. Yes, ma'am?
Because I passed them on to somebody else.
Say that again.
I passed them on to somebody else.
I was supposed to get a gift card, so I owe you a gift card, okay? This is why you do not need to handle those objections. Because in that middle piece, family, occupation, recreation, motivation doesn't talk about any of those things. And if you are getting those objections back, that means you opened your mouth and dropped some blueberries. That means you led them down this path. Because they should not know anything about a business. They should not know anything about an opportunity. They should know nothing about a product. Because nowhere in there are you talking about Keani, Triangle of Health, none of that. I can tell you this, that right there is the most missed part. And if I could leapfrog you guys a year into where I'm at now, that would be it. And that's how you handle objections, by not having to deal with them at all out the gate. Okay? So, as you grow, your business will grow. Hands down. I can tell you this, that I have been able to really change my mindset, and my main motto is change your mindset, change your world. And when I first came into this organization, I could have sworn that everybody would see what I saw. Like, who is tired of getting up on Monday and driving in traffic? Who is tired of going to a Monday morning meeting, listening to your boss tell you how you didn't do X, Y, Z? Any hands?
Yeah.
Right? But you have to remember that everybody will not be you in this as well. Just like in your corporate job you have now, there are different jobs for different types of people. Employees cannot be CEOs. Okay? So therefore, you cannot expect everybody to be the same when you get into this organization. That is the one thing that really drove me crazy when I had people join the organization and they didn't see it. And sometimes, I'll be completely honest with you, when I very first started out, I scared them away. Because I expected them to be like me. Doesn't happen. You're laughing.
Fish are friends.
That fish are friends. Not only that, consistency. If I would have quit, there would be a lot of people in this room not here.
That's right.
Every single last one of us are connected by some shape, form, or fashion. From it started from A and it made it to Z. So when we say this is family, absolutely this is family. Because if somebody had quit, we'd all still be dealing with the same struggles. We'd all be in the same normal pattern of our mindsets. And when people say, you know, what is this going to get me back? What is the cost for this? I can tell you that just the amount of people that we know in this room, with the lives that has changed, this was all well worth it. Hands down. When you talk about, you know, being self-disciplined, about self-discipline, I tell people all the time, they're like, David, how did you do this? You pick one thing in your life and you get consistent at that. You be self-disciplined about self-discipline. Prime example, working out for me is mine. I get up at 6:30 in the morning. I make sure I get to the gym. I start my day off nice and clean. On Friday, got up, went to the restroom, back in bed. And that little voice inside my head said, get up. And so I got up because I start thinking about my desires over my excuses. And that is what I challenge you on. You want to get out of that trap when you're doing what you know you're not supposed to be doing, because we all have that internal clock. You all have that internal voice that says, hey, you know you shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing X. Hey, you know you shouldn't sit down another extra 11 minutes because I want to drink my coffee. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Right? So you have to be able to pick. And that's the one great thing that we have, is you have a choice. You have a choice unlike anything else on this planet Earth. A tree is a tree, an ant is an ant, a dog is a dog. You have the choice of what you get to choose to do and what you get to choose to be. And we all can be whatever you want to be. You just have to believe. Yeah. Like I talked about yesterday, if you don't do anything else, you believe 1,000 times more. Because if you do that, I can assure you, when you make it to the top of the mountain, your life will be so much more alive. Because that's what I've been able to find. Building a business together. This one right here is tough. Because I can tell you that this opportunity, this project, what we're doing, my relationship was saved because of this. My relationship was saved because we learned how to join together and we learned how not to fight. In life, we go through life and we are born and we go to school. We go to school and there's competition, right? You go to work, there's competition. You come back home, you think that's gonna be turned off? No. I played sports, competition. Right? I'll eat you alive.
Fisher, friend?
Yes, fish are friends, not food. And that's exactly what I was doing with Tara, is that I would eat her alive if she didn't go out and talk to as many people as I did. Hey, how many people did you talk to today? That would be our first question. I stepped in a big pile of you know what. She did not want to hear that. I expected her to go out and cold call and talk to people and have three-way calls and do all of that. Like, let's go. Like, I'm literally, when she walks in the door, hey, time check, let's go, what you got? Don't do that. Not only that, the one great thing that me and Tara learned is that we call ourselves the Three Amigos, and I myself am the hustler, she's the hippie. So I know when things need to be done on the computer. When I send things to you guys, I don't do it, she does it, okay? You guys thank me, I'm gonna go ahead, she does all that stuff. It will take me 10 days to do that. So that's the one great thing is that I go through my wall, right? She goes through her wall, and we can punch in two holes, other than us both trying to knock in the same hole, right? So when you guys get congrats, understand that those checks are going to the same house. Yeah. Understand, another thing that I would also challenge you guys to do is that me and Tara's goals and desires are a little bit different. Do you know her desires?
No.
Does she know yours? So? Think so and knowing is two different things. That is something that you guys should have a conversation about. You guys should be doing forming conversations on each other all the time. You want to get better at the system? Have a forming conversation with somebody. That's what you're doing anyhow. Hey, how's the family? Hey, your job? What about that boss? You still going fishing tonight?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Right? You still want that treehouse, right?
Heck yeah.
Done. Have those conversations with your significant other. Role play with one another. I know that was a great thing that me and Tara did when we very first started, is we role played with each other. And I got to learn some things about Tara that I didn't know. She got to learn things about me that she didn't know. So I can assure you, this will literally build your business. It will build your relationship. Our relationship is a lot better than it was. We haven't fought in now almost 2 months.
That's not wood. That's not wood.
So that is what I really want you to understand, and the telling the other person who they are. Right? When I go and try to give Tara some advice, she does not want to hear it. When she goes and tries to give me advice, I do not want to hear it. So a word of suggestion for you would be to let that other person be who they're going to be. People are going to be people. Once again, you all grew up a different way. How can you get better at that? Learn how to communicate more effectively. Me and Tara, we take out the word right and wrong. It's, hey, are you being effective or are you being ineffective? When you look at it that way, it changes the mood. It changes the way our concept of what right and wrong is when you use effective and ineffective. Not only that, let them discover it on their own. She knows she doesn't like doing, going and talking to people and stuff like that. But she's coming around to say, like, you know what? Maybe I should start doing these things, and then I'll be able to get more people in the system. And so that is where I would strongly encourage us all to just get better at that. Okay? So that is what I would really want to suggest to you guys, is being able to do that and handling expectations. I will remind you of this, that when you learn not to have expectations, when you learn to have and do the system as it should be, you're going to have 100 people lined up waiting to talk to you. When you are focused on that 1 or 2 people that you've sent the messages to, or you've had that conversation, you're not sitting there just expecting for them to come in. And just like Jacob and Casey talked about earlier, you might have 2 or 3 people that you bank on, and if they don't sign in, you're out. Do not allow that to be your determination of somebody else's expectations or your expectations for them. Let them be them. People are going to be people. Okay? So, with that said, I want to be able to introduce everyone's Savior after me. Due to the fact that this woman is, I call her nutritionist. She's awesome. She's amazing. She literally came up to me when we were at, a lot of you guys know I've taken Landmark, and she came up to me, she's like, I love you. I was like, who is this crazy ass woman coming up to me? I don't know you. And sure enough, that is exactly, she stuck to that. She loves us. She loves you guys all. I encourage you to give her your full attention because there are things that she's going to explain that are going to be mind-blowing. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to Miss Sherry Passmore.